Game jams are hard. You get a short amount of time to make a game based off a given theme. But what if we made them harder? What if you had multiple themes and had absolutely no idea about what the next theme would be? You could almost be done a game and then be given a theme that would completely ruin your entire game. So, guess what I did today? 5 hours, 5 themes. That's how long I get to make this game, where every hour I'm given a new theme that I need to add into my game. Now this could very well cause the game to be a complete mess, as like many of these themes could very well conflict with each other. So, let's get started. Okay, I am scared to do this here because I've only done one game jam before and my game was quite bad. This is some random game jam theme generator, as you can see in the like URL at the top. That was like the first result on Google because yeah. And yeah, let's see what the very first one is here. It is Dig Deeper. Alright, I will see you again in an hour. And then with no time to waste, I got right into starting the game. I had no current plans as to how I would follow this theme at the time, but my main goal was like just to get some basic 2D platformer movement into the game because I'm gonna have to make that at some point anyways, so you know, might as well just do it at the start. My main idea was very simple. I wanted to have a bunch of blocks on the screen that you can click in order to destroy them, and then just have an area where like you can dig out tunnels below the surface. Now, any good game dev would say if you want to make something like this, do not copy and paste 100 squares onto the scene. So guess what I did? However, it doesn't really make sense to be breaking blocks with your bare hands, or well, no hands in this case, so I decided to make a quick sprite of a pickaxe while definitely not taking any inspiration from any game whatsoever. And then after spending way too much time on this, I finally had it working. However, one thing you might have noticed is that there is no reach limit on the pickaxe. So then, as a true game dev would when they are on a time limit, I decided to keep it as a feature instead of fixing it. Well, this is a start to say the least. I then made it so then the camera follows the player, and then I added a block at the bottom of the world that cannot be broken. What we're going to do here is we're going to add one that can't be broken. And I'm going to call this Bedrock because we are not ripping off any other games. You can kind of climb up walls, but we're going to call that intended. Okay, it is now an hour later, roughly. Well, to be fair, I did start a few minutes late, so I think it's fair that I get to do it a few minutes early because I don't know, I just kind of want to start it now. Just had this one dig deeper, and now parallel dimensions. What? Well, let's see what we can do here. My general idea for this theme was that I have 2 copies of the same world overlapped, and then if you press Q, it just goes and like activates the other one, and then it deactivates the current one, and then it keeps track of what happened in both of them. We're going to go scale this wall by switching dimensions, which means that I'm the only one that can actually technically make it here. Nothing else in the game, because there is nothing else in the game. But now looking back on how I could have made it, I could have easily made the blocks have 2 different states and then it switches between them depending on your dimension. But no, I had to go and copy and paste every single object in the scene in order to do this. However, this also had an issue. What happens if you are underground and then you switch? Well, you get stuck, and you could technically just mine out, but I wanted to make that a gameplay mechanic, so then, whenever you switch and if you get caught by a block, you just die. And that's it. Okay, we are back at the 2 hour mark. I don't know how I'm feeling, but it, so now we need to go and see what the third theme is, and I am scared to press this button. Okay, this one actually fits. Construction / destruction. Yeah, I don't think there was a more fitting theme than this one because building is something that I've always wanted to add into this game anyway, so this honestly worked out perfectly. However, I need to change a few details about how the digging works because currently it works fine because like you just click on the square and then it destroys it. But issue is, how do you place something back there if there's no square to actually click on? Introducing doing things in a somewhat coherent way for the very first time in this video. Instead of just destroying the object upon clicking it, it now just disables its collider for the player, and then it turns off its sprite, and it has essentially the same effect, and then if you click on it again, it just places it back, but then as a gray building block. But you might have noticed there are blocks beneath the player, but what if you want to build above the ground level? I will give you one guess on how I fixed this issue. I decided to go and copy and paste a bunch of boxes up there again, but twice because of the parallel dimensions theme. Okay, so like, despite the fact that like this is incredibly badly made, there is like 2,000 just game objects existing here. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of happy with how it's turning out so far. I can't believe I'm saying that on a project like this, but however, this is only half of the theme though. We still have the destruction aspect of it. I made a sprite for some dynamite, and then I made an explosion particle effect, and then made it so then after a few seconds, the TNT, as I now call it because I cannot spell, will go off and cause an explosion. As you have very likely seen from this video, I am no game design genius, but I don't think that's intentional when it comes to explosions. So naturally, I left that for my future self to fix. Well, let's see what it is. So we had all the other ones and discovery. Now this is going to work. We have a game about digging, building, and exploding stuff. What better formula is there for a game about discovery? My idea for the main gameplay loop is that some of the blocks underground are randomly turned into gold when you start the game, and then your objective is to mine out all of the gold in both of the dimensions as fast as you can. Game manager, we've mined 9 gold. Wow, I'm so good. World record speedrun. I like to see anyone beat this. This also gives a reason for the building mechanic, as you need to be above ground when you switch dimensions or else you will die. So then now you have an easy way to get underground and then get back up, and then since there's gold in both dimensions, you now have a reason to go to both of them. And since I was already working on the main gameplay loop, I decided to add a stopwatch after stealing some code online, and then I started making the different menus for when you start the game, a game over screen, and a winning screen. And then with the leftover time until the final theme happens, I decided to go and fix up most of the known glitches because, I mean, obviously we aren't going to be wanting glitches in the game, right? And now it was time for the very last theme. This could either make or break the entire game, and if I get unlucky enough, I might have to redo the entire game, so let's hope that doesn't happen. Hello there, we have 1 hour left to work on the game. Let's see what our final theme is.
I already got this one, don't worry.
I spent all of that time fixing the glitches in the game in order for it to tell me to add some. And then, in order to help me cope with that fact, I then chose to interpret this theme in such a way that it has to be a intentional glitch, which pretty much means that it's something that would, that's not really intended, but it's something I purposefully added. I don't know if that made any sense, but hopefully it did. And then back to the rolling TNT glitch, I was able to fix with a single line of code. That was all I needed apparently, who would have guessed? I was in a pretty good position though. The main game was technically done. All I had to do was just add some polish and then add some more features because of the new theme, but since I still had some extra time, I decided to finally make some sound effects and music for the game. And with only half an hour left, I needed to think of something quick that could fit with the theme of a glitch. My best idea was to be able to make it possible to click on the TNT and then move it around the screen freely. And then after changing a few things behind the scenes, I was able to make it work a bit better, but it was very hard to actually click on the right spot of the TNT. But since I was low on time, I just decided to count it as a glitch because I couldn't really do anything about it. I took the last few minutes to make sure that I can build the game. I don't have anywhere to submit it because, well, I'm just doing this by myself. It's not an actual game jam, but I just wanted to make sure that everything would work fine. I also made a logo for the game, which was literally just a PNG of the pickaxe on a green background. And just like that, the time was up. However, I did fix a typo on the main menu, which I suppose that means I'm disqualified from my own challenge. One thing I do want to mention about this game is that, of course, it's nothing special, it's quite bad, but I think it shows my improvement at game development. Around 2 years ago, I participated in the GMTK Game Jam of 2020, and I had 2 days to make a game. I made this game, Timed Control, and honestly, it had an okay concept, but it was very bad in every other way. And if you compare the two games, this one was made in a fraction of the time with additional restrictions on it, and yet it's probably objectively better. I think this shows how with game dev, and well, most things in life, it's just about practicing and just doing it. If I never attempted challenges like this and never made projects for the sake of challenging myself, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So if you want to improve at pretty much anything, just keep practicing. I know that's always said, but it's honestly very effective. If you want to play the game for whatever reason, I uploaded it to itch.io, which you can access in the description. Overall, this was a really fun challenge to do, and if you did enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe. I know everyone says it, but that's for a reason. It really does help out, and I am planning on doing more stuff like this in the future. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.